And I'm not going to say the F word because everybody is saying the F word. If this, F this, F this. The top three I go on trending now, and they can't talk without using certain words, and I guess that makes them better people because they can say that and they're so bad and whatever. I don't know. To me, it's just how do you say it? Crazy. Go for a job interview, and does everybody talk like? Well, maybe that's where you want to work, where they all talk like that. But anyway, so I'm here on Ask Questions. Friar Wade, that's who I am. I'm a priest, and nobody's in here right now, but that's okay. So I'm just hanging out, and I don't know how to keep. I wonder how I can keep on working. Can I pull this screen out somewhere? So, hey, King, what's happening? 3 King, King Nothing. Are you the King of Nothing? You got a question for me? Ask the priest. Ask the religious dude. I'm just checking this YouNow out and seeing what's happening. I do a morning prayer deal on like Huz and some other things, so I thought I'd check this out. And I'm the old guy in the room. I think everybody else here is like way young, and I'm like ancient of days. I'm in the geriatric ward. So what are you doing? Hey, Letterman, what's going on? Yeah, this is Friar Wade, not Friar Tuck, okay? Robin Hood left the building. This is Friar Wade. That's me. And I'm an old Catholic priest, dude. And so I'm answering questions the best I can, is if anybody has any questions. So what are you, but maybe I should ask you, what are you into? Are you into religion at all? Or are you into music? So what do you like on YouNow? You guys still in here? Yeah, I see that you're in here. All right, so what's happening with you? Tell me what you like. Wade is now 12th in Ask Questions. Well, I'll probably be number 59th if nobody asks me any questions. The idea is to ask questions. Maybe I should type in here. In about to get to bed. Yeah, it is. Oh, shoot, it's 1 a.m. Where are you at? Are you on the East Coast like me? I'm down here in Florida. So it is. It's like Z time, and I'm wide awake. Isn't that crazy? And I have prayer time like at 7 in the morning that I've been doing. It's kind of like an interactive deal where it's live prayer cast. And I got people from all over the country that are joining me on this crazy prayer deal. You're in Saudi Arabia and you're going to sleep? God, what do you mean? You work the night shift? In Saudi Arabia. That's got to be, yeah, oh my goodness. Well, you better get some sleep, man. Thanks for stopping in, saying hello. I do music from time to time, and I'm going to, set that up eventually. And you're right, it is a night shift. Yeah, it's probably worse than a night shift, yeah, Well, God bless you on your night shift, I hope you have a, because it's day over there now, so you're going to sleep or whatnot. If my world clock is correct. So what do you do? I mean, if you don't mind me asking, it says ask questions, so I can ask you questions, right? As a night shift. Wasn't there a movie or a TV show about the night shift? I don't know. So anyway, Letterman, you're gonna have to become a fan. I need some fans. If you want to, and you can unfan me later if you don't like me. But help me out here and help me get this ball rolling. Does that sound good? I'm now 9th in Ask Questions. Petroleum engineer. That's cool. So you play with oil and gas. Yeah, be my fan, and I mean, if you don't like what I'm doing later, you can unfan me. Hey, thank you. Thumbs up. And I'm still trying to figure out this have you been long on this platform? September 15th. I already did. Great. I appreciate that. Well, you need to, do you have any questions for somebody in Florida? Since this is Ask Questions. I mean, don't ask me like what the square root of pi is. Isn't that like 1.414 or something like that? Because I'm not really good at math. So, but I do have good things to eat over here. You know who this is? You have a serious question? You can ask me a serious question. It's kind of hard to ask me a serious question when I got a crucifix in the back and I got Tony the Tiger on my bowl of cereal. So yeah, you can ask me a question. I mean, I try not to get too serious, but if it's not too heavy, I'll try to lift it for you. So ask away. If you have experience in inappropriate interactions, block the user. But this, I'm not having an it's giving me some tips on the screen. So I'm waiting for the question. Let me put it this way. The answer is no. Okay? Because, I mean, I'm happy to be an American. I'm happy to be in the U.S. But America's history is not always lily white. I don't think any nation or country is lily white. Do you know what I'm saying? You look at people that maybe in their minds that everything is perfect and what they're doing is right. But in our own politics over here, people are out for their own agenda, their own selfishness and their own agendas. All right? And when that happens to where people continually take advantage of other people, that's not greatness. That's pitiful. And maybe that's the way, and that's probably the way it is with all countries. So I don't think that there's really a country that is the greatest. Each one of them has their own, what do I want to say, their spice of life. And so, does that make sense? Were you expecting that answer? Hey, Loose Panic 97433 and Pat Hectic. And yeah, hey, we just had a question about the U.S. being the greatest country and so forth. So I'm answering questions with all my old wisdom here. You understand what I'm saying about that? Well, for example, like Russia. See, I've always been raised, or I was always taught that Russia is like these pagan, anti-God atheists that want to come over and force you into slave labor camps. And until I started doing some study in history and found out that well, not everybody's that way. Want a number to a prank call? No, man, I've got enough pranks going on in my life. I just have the IRS. That's a prank call right there. So Sponge, how you doing, Sponge? So anyway, I'm trolling for. Is that trolling? See, I'm trolling for what do you call it? For fans. I mean, I'm new on this thing, and so I mean, I want you to be my fan. If you don't like me later on, you can unfan me. Does that make sense? But go ahead and click that fan button if you will, and I'll try to behave the best I can. Russia has a state church. There'd probably be better if they had a secular state. Yeah, I don't know. Probably so. It's difficult when you mix politics and religion or stuff. It's really difficult. People, in my opinion, people should have the freedom to express their religion and their faith, to live life, because faith or religion is something that's cool. If somebody wants to do it, fine, let them do it. I mean, what's the big deal? If they don't want to do it, fine. They're a human being. Don't be shouting them down, right? I mean, some people have beliefs in God. What does atheism have to do with slave camps in Russia? Well, in the Russian Revolution, there were thousands and thousands and thousands of of monks and priests and religious folks that were sent to these concentration camps, and they're trying to eradicate the whole face of religious society. So that's what I said atheism have to do, because it was a godless regime. I mean, we don't believe in God. And then religion is the opiate of the people, which is sometimes true. So that's what atheism has to do with slave camps in Russia. Atheism now. So does that make sense? Now I'm saying if somebody's an atheist, that's fine. That's their business. Let them be an atheist. But atheists shouldn't try to cram their non-God belief down people that believe in God, and neither should the God-believing people try to cram their beliefs down people that don't. I mean, what's wrong with that? Can't you just live your life and enjoy it? What's all this about fair stuff? Yeah, it can be. And here's the thing. This is what I've learned. Now, here's some wisdom. Are you ready for some wisdom? It took me a long time to get this figured out. There's a difference between good religion and bad religion. Yeah? So, and you just have to know the difference. You have to have the common sense to know that there's good religion and there's bad religion. I mean, some good religions do what? They build hospitals, they take care of orphans, you do things like that. And because they're motivated, because out of the love for the God they believe in. Does that make sense? Bad religions are the ones that oppress people. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'm a priest. I know I don't have my priestly collar on. Is that okay? So that's why I've got the crucifix in the back, and we're setting things up, and I've got my what do you call this? Tony the Tiger. I just got through eating some cereal. What religion? I'm an Orthodox Old Catholic priest. Hey, thanks for becoming a fan. I appreciate that. Sometime I'll get my keyboard in here and do some music too. I used to play in a blues band. So, did you ever see was it the Blues Brothers? Dan Aykroyd, that movie, that old classic. I have to wear the hat and the dark sunglasses. Yeah, that was kind of me. So, you said, is there any bad religion or nad religion? I guess that was what you were saying. All right, Letterman. Hey, you have a good night or day or whatever, and don't work too hard, and stay safe out there in Saudi Arabia. Sound good? Give me a thumbs up. All right. So Sponge Garrowan. That sounds like an Obi-Wan Kenobi deal. Hello, my name is Sponge Garrowan, young Padawan. Sorry if I'm not making fun. I'm just playing. I'm just teasing. Oh no, you're going to unfriend me now. So I am Pebbles, like Pebbles and Bam Bam. You look like do I look better now without being Wolf Blitzer? I always thought Wolf was pretty funny. Wolf. I like that name, Wolf. Hey, Wolf. Wolfie. Could you imagine that? He's a little boy. Could you imagine a little bobblehead of Wolf Blitzer? And come on, Wolfie. Come on, Wolfie. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm not. I mean, my name is Wade Faunastock. Okay, so with a last name like Faunastock, I mean, I get laughed at all the time. I mean, I've been called crazy things with the name. Saying Wolf is funny, like saying J-Lo is good at acting. Oh my goodness! Zing! Wait a minute, that deserves something. All right. You got the bell. J-Lo's good at acting. Well, J-Lo is good at other things. Do you know what? Let me tell you something like this. Is it wrong is it possibility? I am wrong. Pat, hectic. I am wrong. And that's the interesting thing about faith for me, is realizing that I'm probably wrong at least half the time. Does that make sense? It's like somebody says that it's like faith and doubt. What do you mean? Do you have doubts? How can you have faith and doubts of this? Whatever you got doubts, that's just part of the story. So yeah, it's and here's the thing too, and I'll clarify that a little bit for you, Miss Pat Heretic. No, not Heretic, Hectic. You're not a heretic, are you? It'd be a cool name if you were, though. Hello, I am Pat Heretic, and I've got my opinions. That's what heresy means anyway. It's opinion. But you got to realize that right now in the secular in America, there are 30,000 or more different denominations, Bible-believing denominations. 30,000. I mean, that's like 30. That is all, and they're all Bible-believing. And they all say something different. Now, does that make any sense? Somebody's wrong. All right? So I figure out, and so I realize that I'm wrong about a lot of different things. So that's why I continually study, especially church history. To go back and study the beginnings and the history. So that's, that's kind of like it. Yeah, but there's one new. If I start my own church, then it's going to be 30,001, and I'd be wrong. So, before you cross the street, let's see. Okay, Spongegara one. I like that name. I'm sorry. I'm gonna borrow that. I'm gonna write it down. Yes, and I have a habit. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi, like Franciscans. So I could be the Obi-Wan here and Spongegara one. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that. You can have all the faith you want in spirits and in the afterlife, but when it comes to real life, don't be an idiot. Because I know you look both ways when you cross. Absolutely. Yeah, there's no question about it. And that's, his profile picture is Spongegur's face on Harambe's body. I'll have to check that out. I'm afraid to click on anything. It's just like my first time in here. Anyway, so I'm trying to get fans. If you haven't fanned me yet, would you please fan me? No, I'm not talking about these kind of fans. I'm trolling for fans. When we used to troll, it's different meaning than it was on the internet. Because I do a lot of stuff on Fire Talk, and you get trolls in there, and I used to do stuff on Blab, and just people coming in and being jerks, right? You know what I'm talking about. And we call them trolls. But when I'm trolling, well, that could be another context too. But we used to go fishing for like speckled perch, and so that's where we'd catch fish. Anyway, I got off topic. I guess that's a squirrel, ADHD or whatever. So it's not really worried about that. Using that logic, there are over 10,000 different religions in the world. Yeah, well, see, I think God is a latecomer in religion. Seriously, because most people want to worship God of their own making. I don't want to get preaching on that, but people think, well, this is what I believe, and this is how I feel. Well, then who's the God? I'm the God telling my object how I want to worship him. But that's kind of deep and whatever, so don't worry about that. That's essentially what trolling is. You put out bait to catch somebody's reaction. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to put out good stuff so that you will say, hey, I like this guy for a little bit. So that's why I'm saying, fan me now and disown me later. I'm used to that. People like me for a little bit, and then they get bored. I get bored with myself, and sometimes have to turn myself off. So, Pat Hectic, do you have any questions? This is Ask the Questions. I'm ready for a question. Drum roll. I don't have any drums set up. I do in the other room, though. You like me so far? Well, I am pretty cool. I try to be very cool and understanding. But that's just the way I roll. Some people like to be jerks. I like to be just friendly and get along with people. I do these 1 minute motivation and inspiration deals that I post on YouTube. It's like, I'll give you the intro. Are you ready? It goes like this. Take my glasses off so I can see. Hello, good morning. This is Friar Wade with your 1 moment of motivation and inspiration. So that's kind of what I start out with, and then I take a topic that's practical and encouraging and inspiring, and post that. Then I'll post it on my Facebook page and things like that. And so that's kind of my modus operandi. If I can encourage somebody, that's what I try to do. Because everybody needs a little encouragement now and then. There's too much crap, that we have to go through in life. This is CNN with Wolf Onnestock, Wolf Blitzer. When I first heard his name, I thought he was one of the reindeer. You know, Donner and Dasher but do you recall Wolf Blitzer, the most famous CNN broadcaster of all? Is he still alive, Wolf? Does anybody know? So, I'm not a big fan of CNN either. Not a fan of Fox. I'm really not a fan of too many news medias, to tell you the truth. Are you? Do you prefer what do you call it? Do you prefer a news channel? Anybody? This is CNN. I prefer Bill Maher. He is funny, is he not? Bill is hilarious. Pebbles. I am Pebbles 3. 3, I am Pebbles. I am. Sam, I am Pebbles. You are. Okay, yeah, Bill Maher, anyway, he's hilarious, and he asks some common sense questions, don't you think? And I don't care whether you're conservative or liberal, bam, he'll get you. He's critical of theism. I don't know too much about his opinion on theism and whatnot. I might be critical of theism too, depending on the context. Because you meet a lot of interesting folk that, well, anyway. Let's see, he had that movie Religious, LOL, Religious. Yeah, I never did. I don't watch TV, and I don't watch too much stuff. In fact, on my Facebook feed, do you guys have Facebook? Do you use it at all? Little bit, a lot? On a scale of 1 to 10, I can't do a post, but if you are a big fan of Facebook, give a 10. If you hate Facebook, give it a 1 or a 0, or if you use it. And I'll tell you, I had to clean up 8, 0. Okay, so I got so tired of getting all these political, what do you call them? Posts, propaganda, lies, yellow, whatever. I got so tired of seeing them. I just started deleting them. Not the friends. You got to have mercy on some of these people because you don't know if it's true. It's like they take half the truth and then spin it, and then you're like, oh, I get all upset, and I'm like, you know what? I got enough drama in my life dealing with the people that come to me that I don't need to be concerned about that. I can't do anything about them anyway. So I kind of cleaned out my news feed, and I'm a lot happier. I am Pebbles. You became a fan. 2 thumbs up. Let's see. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You've been off for a month since someone tried to hack your account. Yeah. If I'm going to put if you search me anywhere, not that you would want to, but in case you lost me, FRIARWADE. All right, that's me anywhere, almost. There's one place that's not me. I'm not going to tell you where that is. But like on Twitter, it's Friar Wade. YouTube, it's Friar Wade. Instagram, Snapchat, it's Friar Wade. So, not Friar Tuck, that's the other guy. But anyway, I think I said that before. You have friends who post from very idiotic news. Oh, yeah, there's no question. And, the first off is if somebody will hear something, then they'll share it, and then you go, oh, wow, so the Publix is going to give me $200 in free groceries. And then you find out it's a scam. It's the same deal with these political things. It's from bias. Whatever. What do y'all think of Copernic not standing for the anthem? Gosh, I think, what do I think? I've got mixed feelings about it. Yeah, well, okay. You think he was dumb and he has the right to be dumb. That's well said, actually. You pronounced it weirdly. What? His name? Copernic? Kaepernick? I think it's Humperdinck. I did a post about it and I called him Humperdinck. Because, well, here's the thing. I mean, I've watched movies like Band of Brothers. My dad was in World War II, and he told me stories, and there was a sense of pride about your country and fighting against oppression and all that kind of stuff. All right, so and I know that the flag and all that is the symbol of the concept of America, whether it's liberty and justice for all. Now, does it live up to that? No, but it's the aim, right? So when somebody disses the flag, which to me is like you're dissing with liberty and justice for all, is patriotism is just as much an illusion as Islam radicalism. Well, not all Muslims are radical, if that's what you're saying. But but there's enough radical Muslims that are kicking butt and killing my brothers and sisters over in Egypt, and that kind of ticks me off. You know what I'm saying? However, there are some Muslims that are standing with the Coptic Orthodox Christians there. So, you know, it's the hate in people's heart, and people will use religion to their advantage. That's what they do. So, you know, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Islam. I mean, I have some Islamic friends, and it's like, okay. But here's the thing. In Lakeland, where I live in Lakeland, Florida, which is between Tampa and Orlando, okay? We had this minister deal come together, and we asked the Muslim inman repeatedly, you know, hey, join us for a community religious deal, you know, where all the different clergy get together, you know, showing faith and solidarity. Nuh-uh, not interested. Never would respond. So it's like, okay, what's that? That's you? You don't want to respond? See you. You know, I just mean how they rally people to their cause. We do the same. Get people stirred up for their cause. Yeah. You know, there's a time over in, over in Turkey or in Syria, and there where Christians, Muslims, and Jews live together in peace. Believe it or not. All right, so it's not. It's you get these radicalized people that want power, and they'll use whatever they can to unite the people, and you know that's what happens, because unity is a powerful thing, and if you can get people in the anger mode and off the thinking mode, well, you've got a militarized weapon in human beings right there. It's called the madness of crowds, right? Which is liberal Western values of freedom? What? I don't like patriotism. Germany. Yeah, I don't know much about. See, and I can't comment because I'm not sure. I don't know. And well, it's just like our own. It's like the American government. There's more that goes on behind the scenes than we know. Understatement, right? And you know, there's things that are done. I guess they just think that since they've got the power, they can do it, and that gives them the right to do it, whether it's right or wrong. And there's what ticks me off is that there's human beings, people that are suffering. So if this guy is protesting, now whatever he's protesting, I don't even know what he's protesting. I didn't look at it. The Humperdinck fella, Kaepernick or Kaepernick or whatever. You can tell I don't watch the news. And I mean, if he's protesting discrimination, well, fine and dandy, brothers. Protest discrimination, right? But what discrimination are you talking about here? That's the question. I mean, because everybody gets discriminated against and picked on at some point in their life. I know I do. I've been picked on. I don't know. You have too. He points to BLM, the Black Lives Matter deal. You know, and to me, all lives matter. And I went around and around with somebody on that, you know, because they're thinking that the African Americans have been mistreated in this country. Duh, you know, no doubt. Well, hey, you can use this water fountain, but you can't use this water fountain because of the color of your skin. That's, you know, interesting thinking, all right? So, you know, but the Irish that came over, you know, the ones, the white slavery or just the human trafficking that still goes on in this country. But the immigrants that would come over from other countries, they were all dissed and criticized too. and it just took time. What I don't like for any culture is to use the mechanism of hate and to rally, again, using the rage. Turn off your brain and use rage in order to, and just because you want to exploit power, you want to have that sense of power. And it has nothing to do with freedom. It has nothing to do with helping other people. It just has to do with some people wanting that sense of power and control, and this is the way that they are doing it. Now, I'm not saying that all those involved in it are that way, but that is the impression I get. When you go out and you're protesting people that are doing a good job, like the police, is there corruption in police forces? Duh, yeah. All right, should that be there? No. How do you get it out? You protest, all right? But you don't start shooting cops. I mean, hello. Make sense? All right, what is going to come through that door? Which door are you talking about? The movement was started with good intentions. Yeah, a lot of movements were started, just like the Protestant Reformation. Remember that? It was started with good intentions, and then somebody took it and started killing everybody. So you had to, I love God, and this is the way we're supposed to worship God. What? You don't do it that way? Off with your head. And now see, that's just nuts, right? And there you go, the Protestants. God bless the Protestants, right? Do I do that? Do I cut off somebody's head because they don't agree with me? No, that's not my modus operandi. I don't know about that even. BLM was started under false pretense of hands up, don't shoot, which was a complete fabrication. Hands up, don't shoot. Oh, yeah. It's and again, if you got ding-dongs out there who are shooting people, they're abusing their authority, well, they need to be taken care of. In our morning prayers, you do know I'm a priest, right? So we do pray. In the morning, we pray for the people in authority, and we pray for our local law enforcement officers. We really do. Why? Because prayer works. Prayer changes things. I've seen God answers prayers, honestly. I mean, that's what priests do. We have this connection. And so we pray and we pray that God, I ask that God would give us men and women of integrity, and if they're Martians, fine. But if they're from Atlantis, I don't care. But that we would have men and women of integrity to serve in our law enforcement officials. Does that make sense? So, no, Pebbles, I disagree with you. Prayer does work. I've seen it happen. Sorry, and action does too. Now, what the deal is it's really not an either-or situation, all right? Some people say the idea is you pray like everything depends on God, but you work as if it all depends on you. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's a common sense deal. I can sit in my house and I can pray. Okay, here's the example. This is a crazy one, so you can laugh with me on this one. There's a flood going on, right? So, and, they could spend billion-dollar studies on the effectiveness of prayers. I mean, how do you put a genie in a bottle? So, whatever. When you pray, you do what you think is happening to change whatever you're praying for. Well, how can I control the weather? All right? I mean, I was at a place one time in an open area, and we prayed, and the thunderstorm came in, and it passed right over us, and there was a circle right over us. Now, how do we do that? I mean, I don't control the clouds. I don't control this clear tunnel of light that's right in between us. I was there. I saw it. Okay? So prayer does work. I mean, I believe in positive thinking, and I believe in positive action, but... intercessory prayer has been shown. Who's shown that? People that don't believe in intercessory prayer. Fine. So what do I tell them? Well, then don't pray. And if your life is better, if that works for you, fine. Big deal. All right? See, I've got to realize that I'm not all that in a bag of chips, that I've got to find wisdom that is beyond me. And this is what I'm talking about, God being a latecomer in religion. Somebody thinks, well, you know what, intercessory prayer is just about as effective as chance. And we did a study on that. We asked 2 gophers, 3 grasshoppers, and a partridge in a pear tree to intercede for something. And you know what? chance just happened just as well. In fact, we put them in front of one of those Briggs-Myers tests and one of those Rorschach tests, and we prayed and they guessed the numbers. Yep, that's what we did. And you know what? The grasshopper, when he jumped on it, he was just as effective as the gopher who prayed. What does that prove? Well, you know what? If I was God, I wouldn't even show up to the test. You know? Gerbils can count to more than 3, man. They're like rabbits. They just multiply. So, you know, the thing is that a lot of people in their ignorance pray, and their prayers are Hail Mary prayers. Now, I'm not talking about the, you know, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you and all this other stuff. Well, Pebbles, I'm being facetious. All right, I could say 2 black people, 1 Caucasian, 4 Chinese, and 2 Jews, and 3 Hungarians, and 4 Czechoslovakians. I mean, who pulls these studies, right? So, you know, you're, and that's basically what I've got to say about that. If somebody wants to pray, pray. If somebody doesn't want to pray, don't pray. All right? You know what's funny? Let me tell you what is stupid, in my opinion. 9/11 happens, and everybody starts running to the church and praying. Why? That's ridiculous. Why don't they just, you know, eat a bowl of, what's this? It's not Kentucky Fried Chicken. Frosted Flakes. And say, help me, Tony the Tiger, be a better person, and so that the people won't kill me. But they go to these places. Yeah, Frosted Flakes, that's it. You know, belief in God caused 911 in the first place. Really? Do you think so? Again, I'll go back to my fundamental statement on religion. Are you ready? My opinion. There's a big difference between good religion and bad religion. And we have to have enough sense to know the difference. Are you with me on that? What do you mean by that? A good religion is going to build orphanages and hospitals, take care of children, take care of the elderly. They're going to love people. They're going to follow that commandment that Jesus said. I want you to love others. I want you to lay down your life for other people. That's good religion. Okay? Okay, I disagree with you, Pebbles. I love you, but I disagree. Because people that are full of religion, pure religion and undefiled before God is this, to visit the fatherless, the orphans, the widows, and to take care of other people. Now, do you say that's bad? I don't think so. All right? Are you with me? Does that make sense? That's good religion. If a religion is like that, that makes people a better person, if religion causes some man to stop beating his wife, I call that good. I don't know what that's in your book, but to me, I call that good. All right? If religion causes somebody to go out and kill people or blow up and go do a 9/11 thing, that's bad. And we just have to have enough common sense to know that. I mean, seriously. I mean, how about that 12-step program that people get set free from, alcoholism? What's the first step on that? Right? I believe in a higher power. Okay? That's how that whole program works, is faith in a higher power. So a power greater than themselves. Whether some people call it God, and it used to be God, it used to be Jesus, right? But then people said, well, what about the people that believe in that Frosted Flakes is their God, and that their higher power is Frosted Flakes, and if they believe in that, won't they get the same results? I don't know. But I tell you what, if Frosted Flakes will get you healed, then go ahead and eat those Frosted Flakes, right? Hey there, people don't change. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I've seen people change. I'm one of them. All right? You know what? Here's some things, Miss Sponge Garler 1, Mr. Sponge Garler 1. Change is inevitable. How can you say that people don't change when everything in the world changes? The only thing that doesn't change is change. Except people? Oh, come on. I'll tell you how people change. You go to a bar and get them to start drinking, they'll change. They do. I asked bartenders after bartenders, and they said people start drinking, and their personality changes. They become a different person. How about taking certain medication that has side effects? They change. So people do change. Whether it's chemically induced, inspirationally induced, people change. No, it's not. It doesn't bring out who they really are. It brings out a different phase of them. They are who they are. You are who you are. Okay? Like, I'm this secret person, and the only way I could really be me is to drink. Well, let's ask the surgeon then to go get drunk before he operates, because I want him to be who really is. All right? No, drinking doesn't do that. It just enhances certain aspects of a person's personality. Some people get happier, some people get meaner. Okay? And I'm not a whole thing on the alcohol thing, but the point is people change. Their actions change. Maybe a good religion is one that serves the will in their creator by wiping out false belief. If you want to wipe out false belief, I think the best way is to prove it in your actions, and instead of trying to cram it down other people's throats. That's my take on it. I'm not going to get up there and again, somebody asked me at the very beginning, do you think you're wrong about your Christian faith or your Christianity? That was like one of the first questions. And I said, of course I'm wrong. And I have doubts. Does that make sense? There's nothing new under the sun. Well, that's for sure. Except microwaves. Because they didn't have a microwave back at the in the old temple. So that changed. So that was kind of new. But as far as the way people act and behave themselves, I almost agree with you. It's a cycle that goes on again and again. Yeah, well, is that good to cut people's heads off? No. That's a bad religion. I don't care if they're Christian or Muslim. If they burn them at the stake because they're a heretic, or they cut their heads off because they confess Jesus, like those Coptic martyrs did over in Libya. In general, no. I mean, that's common sense. Hey, if you're lighting people on fire and burning them in cages, that's bad. I don't care what book you're from. All right? Well, a secular system of morality would be good. The deal is that everything comes from a belief in what's right or wrong and some sense of a kind of universal truth. So, and everybody's got their opinion of what's right and what's wrong on the micro level, or is it the macro level? So there's where you get into trouble on that. Like, hey, I believe that you can only cross the street by walking sideways, so that way you can see which way the traffic's going. If you're just walking straight ahead and not paying attention, that's wrong. I mean, everybody's got their opinions about everything. However, when it talks about cutting people's heads off, hey, that's almost and pardon the impression, that's a no-brainer, okay? That religion is nuts. And does it mean that all people that follow that religion are nuts? No. It just means that those people have got, they're a few French fries short of a Happy Meal. All right? So that's my deal. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if you had to chop somebody's head off, I guess that's a quick way to go. Can turkeys walk backwards? With a walker, they can. I've seen them. You get them for the geriatric turkeys. They've got these little bitty walkers out there that they set right there, and it helps them go back. You can get that on Amazon, the turkey walker backwards. I don't know if turkey walks backwards. For someone who's more judgmental about walking across the sideways, you need to back up with a reason, or it isn't valid. Have you ever seen that question on logical fallacies? If you do a Google search on logical fallacies, there's different arguments that people use to try to prove their point, and a lot of them are just crazy thinking because they're fallacies in logic. They don't even make logical sense. Logical fallacies, I think that's what it is. Logic, logical fallacies. I don't know how to spell. Let's see if I can find out what this is. Click and fallacies. Yeah. Logical fallacies. Look up on Google. All right, there's your tip for the day. All right. Anyway, there's a big chart about logical, like the straw man argument and whatever. The reason a point you can't use logical fallacies or it wouldn't be valid reason. You can't use logical. Yeah, it's there's a certain amount of reasons. So there's where we go back to that whole prayer and work deal. You know, yes, you should pray. I believe that. You should. When I say you should, I recommend it. All right. If you don't want to, that's fine. But I also work. So it goes hand in hand. It's like water and wet. They really should go together. See, we're called as Christians. Now, I'm not talking about you guys because I don't know and not trying to convert you or anything. As a Christian, we are called to live by faith. And that faith means it's not just something like a Hail Mary pass. Oh my God, the sky's falling. Help, Lord, you know. And you say a prayer like it's the last resort, like you hope that, well, if there is a God up there, I hope He sure rescues me from this situation. It's kind of like that story about the flood, where, you know, this flood's happening and people are in their house and they're trying to get rescued and they're praying, oh, God, save me, God, save me. And the guy comes up in the four-wheel drive and says, hey, come on, I can get us out of here, this big old pickup truck. No, we're fine. God's going to save us. God's going to save us. We're praying. And then the water keeps on rising and it gets to the second floor. So they're all up on the second floor praying, oh, God, save me. It's flooding. God, save us. And I believe you're going to save us, you know. And a guy comes by in a boat and says, all right, hey, come on in. I mean, right here, folks. They say, no, thanks for stopping by, but God is going to save us. Water keeps on rising. They're on the roof of their house, all right? And another boat comes by. And then a helicopter comes by and says, hey, guys, we're here. We can get you to safety. We'll drop down the rope. Oh, no, God will save us. Well, they died. And they get to heaven, and God says, what are you doing here? And then they say, well, what are we doing here? Why didn't you answer our prayer? I mean, we prayed that you would save us. And He said, listen, I sent you a four-wheel drive truck. I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter. What more do you want? Okay? Now, that's a silly story, but it kind of illustrates people in faith. They're not walking in faith, they're walking in fiction, if that makes any sense. Because they really don't know. They don't have an experience in it. They're just guessing in their faith. And if you just guess in your faith, it's not really faith. Because faith is not just something you hope is true. Anyway, enough talking about that. I'm a Christian. Is that like I'm a Christian? But don't reject logic or science. Well, exactly. If Sponge Garawan, if that means, does that mean that your mom's a Christian? My mama's a Christian. No, sorry. I'm a Christian. Huh. I am a Christin. That's one of the camp songs. You don't reject science or you don't reject logic. I mean, here's the thing. Remember that commandment when Jesus was asked what the greatest commandment was? You remember that? Weren't you there? I was sitting on the third chair to the left. I saw the dude ask it. No, I'm being silly, of course. When they said, hey, Jesus, what is the greatest commandment? What did He say? Drink Red Bull. No, He said, love your Lord your God with all of your heart, your soul, your mind, your strength. Okay? And the second is likened to the first, love your neighbor as yourself, right? But the first part is you love God with all of your heart, soul, mind, and strength. So you, as a Christian, you should believe in logic, reason, and science. Okay? In the early days of the church, there was these 2 guys named Cosmos and Damians. They're saints now, Saints Cosmos and Damians. They're called mercenary healers, which means they were doctors. They knew how to, the apothecary or whatever you call them. They knew healing arts. They studied healing arts back in the day. But then they also prayed for people. So they used, and they didn't charge for it. Okay, so they were pretty cool. So they're called Saints Cosmos and Damians, and that's it's pretty cool. They love people, and they wanted to help them. So you don't reject science and logic. Even like medicine. And Luke was a doctor. Exactly. Good point. He was Dr. Seuss, and he wrote a lot of good... No, that's the wrong Luke. I was thinking of a different one. Yeah. So, and again, Luke wrote a couple of historical books, right? He wrote the Gospel of Luke, of course, and the book of Acts. So you get a historical perspective. However, what's cool is then when you read the church fathers, like the writings of the early church fathers, and you'll find out how that the early Christians interpreted what he had to say. That's pretty wild. Because we think it means one thing today, but back then, sometimes they had a little different understanding. Does that make sense? You're a nurse's aide and studying to be a surgical tech. Hey, thumbs up on that. I used to be a Deepwater Advanced Rescue lifeguard at Disney, believe it or not. So all my hats off to first my brother and Michael, who died several years ago today, of blessed memory. May his memory be eternal. He was a firefighter, and so hats off to first responders and medical people and caring for other people. So hats off to you. If this was a toupee, I would take it off and salute you. So, all right, I'm a number 2 on Ask. I can't believe it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Maybe that's why. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed any of this. I think I've been on here for 51 minutes and 15 seconds. And if you are my fans, I love you. If you're not my fans, I love you. Because in this boy's book, we pray for those who love us and those who don't. Otherwise, we're just like anybody else, right? Yeah. And we love our enemies. We pray for those that bless us. And we pray that they will not perish because of us, or me, a sinner. So if you're crazy enough, this is a challenge, okay? I'm going to put this in here. You don't have to do it. It's no obligation, and I'm not asking for money, okay? However, if you do want to, no, I'm not going to do that. Let's see if I can do this right. B-P, no, S-C-R-S-E-T. Is that working? It's not working. S-C-T. Okay, let me try this. S-R-T. Is it 14? No, that's the wrong one. Like maybe if I change this and put it in here, it'll work. 15. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, if you're crazy enough, and I don't mean that in a crazy way or so forth. Have you seen Dr. Greg that broadcasts here on YouTube? No, I'm just new. I'm a newbie to this YouNow platform. This is totally different. So, I mean, mostly my experience has been good. I did go into a couple of rooms where all I knew how to do was to say F this and blank this and, oh, I'm this. And I'm like, okay, I guess your vocabulary is limited. And so that just doesn't impress me, Hopefully Dr. Greg, I'll try to find out Dr. Greg, or if you've got his name or whatever, throw it in there and I'll check him out. But anyway, what I put that link in there, that bit link, that's a link. We do morning prayers every single morning at 7 o'clock. So I've got to get to sleep and we pray. We do some scripture reading. Now, we pray differently than you probably have prayed before. We pray standing on our head and stack BBs at the same time. It is really therapeutical. No, I'm kidding. We don't do that. The link didn't come through. Sometimes YouNow censors chat and doesn't tell you. Really? Ooh. Okay. Well, I can tell you what it is. All right, I can type this in. Let's see if I can type this in. 2016-08. No, it's 09-15 a.m. prayers. So did that come through? Did that link show up? I mean, did that text come up? Put the link in your description. Where's my description? Hey, that's a good idea. Okay. Where's my description? Let me see if I can do this without opening my profile. Can I open up a different page and still broadcast? So anyway, what I'm saying is that if you, and I'll put it in there. I'm trying to open it up in another window for my profile or my whatever you call it. A priestly dude sharing inspiration, musician, monk. So, but I can't edit that from here. It looks like I've got to go into this other deal and edit that. Open another page. All right, sounds good. Tab. Let me copy this YouNow there because I tried to do it using the magical way and it just didn't want to do it there. All right, try that. And we're coming up. Continue your broadcast in this tab. No, just browsing. All right, what I want to just go to my profile. I want to edit my profile. And I'm hearing myself talk with an echo. I'm going to turn that off. So I don't know if I've got any words, but I'm going to put in a bit link here. That's SCR, nope, SCT, SCT. Why can't I remember this? It must be my age. Oh, you know what? There's not enough room for all of that. So I'm just going to type it in here real quick. Let me get some of this other stuff out of here. I don't know what to get out here. Let's see. All right. Inspiration. We leave that. All right. Let's see if we can do this here. Okay. http://bit.ly/ the date 2016-09-15, and then capital letters AM, stands for morning, and then prayers. Okay. All right, I think that's it. I'm going to save that and see if that works. Well, something happened there. bit.ly, how come it just substituted? bit.ly? Maybe it doesn't want that in there. Maybe it does. Maybe my fingers just don't work. Maybe I should pray for my fingers. Hey, there we go. All right, it's done. That echo. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome. Okay, so I posted it in there in the description. That's a link to an Evernote page actually that has where we're going to be every morning, and I changed that. So I'm going to have to figure out a link that's consistent for the morning prayers and for the morning inspiration. I don't mean to send you someplace else. I'll post that. I don't want to be asking, but it won't show up when you broadcast until next time you broadcast. Okay, thanks for sharing that. Hey guys, I have been on here about 58 minutes yakking, and I've enjoyed it. Thank you for becoming my fans. I really appreciate that. And it better not give me a virus or some weird dungeon prawn. Oh, no promises, because you never know what could happen. I hope it doesn't, because if it gives you a virus, then I'm going to go to the hospital, because that's all through my Evernote. No, it's just a link to an Evernote page, so you should be pretty cool. So, it's all right. I understand. All right, we're all good. So, I will say this. God bless you, and it was fun, and enjoyed the interaction, and maybe I'll do this again sometime, and hope to catch you around here. Sound good? All right, this is Father Wade, in some religious circles or squares, and wishing you a good night, good morning, a good day, and we'll see you next time. All right, now how do I shine? Oh, I can just click end. This is the end. Good night.